I'm only one drink away from the devil. I'm only one call away from home.
Welcome back to the CuttyandGovy Show. It's the Thursday after the biggest presidential election of our time, and I'm here today to eat crow. Govy was right on everything. Cutty was wrong on everything. Let me tell you what happened. You know, Govy and I had a $10,000 bet. I took my candidate, Harris, but the night before, I listened to Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, and they convinced me to switch my vote to Harris.
And you made a reel. I made you make the reel.
I made a reel. It went viral that I was switching my vote because of Joe Rogan. He has 40 million listeners. I think he has 40 million, right?
I think he has more.
Or 18. Yeah, it's some crazy amount of listeners. I called Govy, and he said, you have 30 seconds to decide. I'll let you offer the bet if you're going to vote for Trump. I said, I changed my mind. On the way to vote, I changed my mind 5 times.
Right.
But when I got in the booth, Election Day, because I vote Election Day, I voted for Donald Trump. But Govy, although you were right about everything.
A blowout. Blowout.
You were right. Well, they don't have all the electoral candidates.
He's going to win both. Well, I got to tell you that he won Arizona now. Does it make a
Did
difference?
he?
Yeah. It looks
Is
like
he over 300?
Yeah, it's way. He's going to be, and he's going to win Nevada.
Well, I'm here to defend Kamala Harris, even though she lost, and this is
Come
my
on.
defense.
Okay, what's your defense?
You can talk first. You
Okay.
talk first.
Well, first of all,
You tell me whatever you want to tell
first
me.
of all, we need everybody to push the subscribe button or
the share button
the share button.
or make a comment.
Yeah, or make a comment because we're going to have winners and losers today. And if you don't agree with some of these winners, tell us who you think is the winner and loser of this election on some of these people. So
anyway, this is why I think Kamala Harris was a great candidate.
okay.
She had a horrible record to defend. Inflation 10, 11, 12%. High interest rates. Everything in the Middle East was a disaster. Ukraine sucking the blood out of America. And she couldn't answer any questions. She did the best she could.
Created it.
How did she create? She was the number 2. The CEO of a company runs a company, not the number 2.
So you're saying that her job description, as far as she was concerned, was you get to be picked to be the vice president, handpicked.
Your entire job is
You
to
get
be
to work,
ready and waiting.
You get to work 3 days a week because she was back in California on Wednesday nights.
Right.
She then gets to fly on Air Force 2 to all these different places, greet, lunch, this, that, and no real work. Didn't have to do the border.
Correct.
She had 0. So then you know what happened? She should have been smart enough to know that there's an 80-some-year-old person here who wasn't supposed to run a second term because that's what he said originally, and she should have been she should have been his shadow. Wherever he went, she went. So she's prepared that in case he has to step down, which was possible, which he should have because he was hidden in the basement, everybody knew that he was out to lunch. She should have been ready.
How hard is she supposed to work for $285,000 a year?
Let me tell you this. If you're in football and you're a backup quarterback.
Yeah, they're paying basketball guys $40 million.
Yeah, but-
She's vice president,
but-
number 2 in the country.
Listen, if you're a football team and you get hurt, your starter, they expect the backup not to be like coming off saying, I never thought I would come in the game. You got to be prepared. I guarantee you Vance knows that Donald Trump is 4 years. He will be working. You will see Vance wherever he goes. He's going to be flying all over the place because he's going to be ready 4 years from now to run for president.
Okay. Look, she was a flawed candidate because she didn't understand anything. But
That's great.
The truth of the matter
And that's
is,
what you were going to vote for.
Yeah, because she couldn't defend his record. So she had to avoid the press. She had to babble and do word salads. That's how she got out of it. You know, she came from a middle-class family. And they mowed a lawn. I mean, you know, that was her thing.
Here.
But this is what I wanted to say to you, Govy.
Okay.
And then you won. You let me off the hook for $10,000. I'm very appreciative. My children are very appreciative. But this is where I think it's malpractice. These pollsters, I mean, imagine if you were a heart surgeon doing a 4-way bypass on you, and they were only off 10%. I mean, you're 5%, and you died. I mean, you know, these pollsters, that's what they do for a living. How can they be so bad? They all said it was neck and neck. Kamala's up, blah, 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 blah.
Wait a second. They were, first of all, they were wrong the last election that Trump ran. They were perfect in the midterms. Trump is a wild card. Now, I'll tell you who had their own pollsters. You see, you're just looking at Fox's pollster and CNN and NBC and ABC. But J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Jeff Bezos, L.A. Times guy, they had their own pollsters that they paid millions of dollars to, and they came back and they said, "Do not." They said to Jeff Bezos in the Washington Post, "Do not endorse her because I'm telling you, he's winning." Goldman Sachs.
Wait,
they
time
know.
out. Let's stay on Bezos.
Okay.
Because how does a guy literally trash the living hell out of Trump for 4 years straight and then not endorse her? I mean, how's he get away with that? He's a stone cold pussy. No, he's a stone cold pussy. I mean, how can this guy? He's got whatever amount of money, 150 billion. How does he trash his entire enterprise, his newsroom?
Right.
People quit for money when for 4 years all they're doing is trashing the guy and he won't endorse Harris. It's just wrong.
And now he wants to say, "All good? Are we good
Yeah,
now?"
all good. Stand up, man. You're a pussy. I think, you have all this testosterone in your body. Your neck's this
Right.
big. I mean,
He did. He came up small. And you know
he
what?
came up small.
What do you think he's thinking that Elon Musk, by the way, is now going to be running the whole Space Force? He's it. Elon Musk made what, $40 billion the night of the election.
He's your typical guy at a party, and he's just saying, "I hope Donald Trump doesn't notice I'm here." He just doesn't want Donald Trump to know he's alive right now. I mean,
Right.
the guy destroyed him for 7 years. I mean, for 4 years.
But just to say one thing, to let you know how flawed of a candidate Kamala Harris was. Did you ever think that she could go on the most friendly show, The View, that loves her, that she could say anything, and they asked her a question that she knew was coming?
she was overprepared.
She was overprepared.
She was overprepared.
And they said, I know you were for change and you never want to go back. So is there anything you would do different?
The stylist had the hair dryer on her hair too long,
Wait,
and she was fried.
And if you notice, the night of the election, everybody said she failed The View. How does a candidate fail The View? It's a layup. Now, that's why she couldn't take it. She never did one interview, she never had a press conference. She did an interview with CBS, and by the way, they only have a $60 billion lawsuit on them, CBS, because they tried to help her by splicing her answer together, which, by the way, Donald Trump's going to win that.
He's suing for $10 billion.
I thought it was 60.
No, 10
10
He
billion.
can put CBS out of business because what they did was malpractice.
He's gonna win.
Yeah, he will win.
So she had that friendly thing. Now, she never had a press conference where they just fire questions at you. She didn't do that. So she just thought that.
Well, time out, Gabby. You are a podcast superstar now. You're on your 72nd episode here. She has been in public life her whole life, doing news conferences for 40 years. And she's done plenty of them as a vice president. Maybe not a formal one, but there's plenty of gags that she's going and doing. Are you telling me you can't go give a public speech anywhere because of the way your experience now? I mean, I just have a hard time believing that, because she didn't give one press conference in 107 days or whatever it is, she wasn't qualified.
Well, no, they said if you look at some of the critics after the election, she spent $1 billion and nobody knows what she's for, what she's against. I mean, no one knows her. $1 billion in 107 days. $1 billion.
Well, the problem is she was loyal. She made a deal with Joe. I will be I'm stepping aside. You'll be the candidate, but you can't trash my legacy. You can't ruin my record. So with those guide rails around her, it was very difficult for her to take any position against Joe. She couldn't say, "Oh, I understand why jets were flying 300,000 people into the middle of the country." Or she couldn't say, "Well, 11% inflation's not bad. We're working on it."
Or 300,000 children are missing.
She couldn't say any of that. So she couldn't defend a very bad record. She did the best job she could.
She didn't make the deal with Joe Biden. The deal was that she was picked by Barack Obama. Barack Obama was calling the shots. George Clooney, from his bedroom, said, I don't like the way that debate went. Called up Barack, he has his cell number, and says, we got to do something. And the next thing you know, Joe Biden, President of the United States, is gone. And then they had to choose Kamala Harris because he endorsed her. And she followed. She didn't do any press conference because she was told, you're not doing a press conference. Barack Obama's legacy took a hit. And we're going to start a winners and losers thing, but he ain't a winner on this one.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So what did she get? 80 million votes? She got a lot of votes.
Donald Trump got a lot of votes and lost to Joe Biden.
I know, but I think half of her votes were, we just can't vote for Trump. We're
Right.
going to vote for you.
Right.
So Trump had so many people that just didn't like the guy that she ended up with a lot of votes. I mean, think about
He won the popular vote.
But think about how flawed as a candidate she was. And yet it was this close till the very end. The only thing was everybody ended up voting the economy. Everybody ended up voting their
Well, she
pocketbook.
had one
Abortion
talent.
wasn't as
She has one really good talent that she was able to do that no one else was able to do.
what?
She was able to unite the Latinos, the blacks, the
Against her.
Jews, men. She got everybody to vote for Trump. I mean, Trump went into barbershops in the Bronx. He went to Coachella.
did a great-
He went to the Madison Square Garden. I mean, she united all these people. The only people that were still on her side were the elitists of the news organizations.
It's crazy how the Democratic Party, which was the party of the people, I mean, ended up being the elite party. And the Republicans are the garbage men of America, the Latinos of America, the union workers of America.
The unions went against their own union. The unions
Well,
say
how
we're
do you
endorsing.
fit into the Republican Party, Gavi? I mean,
Because
you're an elite.
I'll tell you why I fit into the Republican Party. Because I lean left. I was the person that would be like a Democrat that leans right. The Bill Maher's, the Democratic Party needs to go back to the middle. And today could be a good day for them because they got to get rid of all the woke stuff. When you start letting boys and men start playing in women's
Yeah, they have to
sports, you're
start.
going to all of a sudden there won't be any women. You'll be turning on golf, and instead of seeing Korean women dominating the tour, you will see people with the name like Larry Jones, Bob Smith.
P. Diddy voted from jail. Did you see that?
I see. Oh, he's allowed to. He's not.
He's not a convicted felon yet.
By the way, everybody that was on her campaign tour were at P. Diddy's parties. Every single person. I mean, how about Jennifer Lopez is telling you that Donald Trump's a bad person, but it was okay for her to go to the parties and watching people getting raped.
Yeah, I mean, all those celebrities were there. I mean, you had everybody on the steps of the Philadelphia.
So we do some of our winners and
Yeah,
losers.
let's go through them. So let's go with losers first, because losers. Don't you love to talk about a loser? I
Yeah.
mean, it almost makes you feel.
By the
a
way,
little better.
why is my-
I'm a loser.
Right.
Cuddy's a loser.
Why is my
I mean,
loser list twice as long as the winner
Well,
list?
I'm a loser. Up until day of election,
So
I was wrong.
and by the way, everybody out there, just give a comment if you either agree with us, not. Give us your own
Yeah.
losers. If we might have, I think we left a lot of losers out there.
there's too many.
But
You do one, I'll do one. You do one, I'll do
okay,
one. Who's your
but-
first
but-
loser?
But before we start, I want you to tell me who is the mystery guy that has disappeared from TV from all networks.
Where's Lindsey Graham?
Where is he?
I mean, the guy was on TV every day. Disappeared the last 2 weeks.
And no one's asking that question.
Where's Lindsey Graham?
He's a war guy too, like
Yeah.
Liz Cheney. So he was for the Ukraine war
Is
because
he a loser?
well, the Ukraine war is going to come to an end.
Yeah.
So do you think they told him to stand down?
I have no idea. Maybe he has COVID. I don't know where
No,
he
but
is.
I mean, he was nowhere.
He's nowhere.
Lindsey Graham, is he banned from the shows? Did someone?
He was Trump's biggest supporter.
Is he blackballed from Fox News and
We'll have to-
Newsmax?
We'll have to figure it out.
Okay, so
We talked about that on the ride here. I don't know. But who's your first loser?
well, it's Kamala Harris. She's a loser.
All right. We heard from the audience here. You think
Right.
that's funny,
Yeah,
audience?
I mean, Kamala Harris is a loser because deep down, she believed she was going to kick his butt.
She did.
And she was going to go up to her husband and say, "You are with the first woman president
Right.
ever." You know?
Right. I can take it. Give me more.
And she was going to look at her first man and say, "Oh, you're going to be great as the
well,
first
he's
man."
got to be a loser too,
Well,
right?
well, now
Doug
she-
Emhoff.
Yeah, so now
That's not my pick, but since you're talking her, because it's come out that he slapped his ex-girlfriend around.
okay.
He what did he do? He
Impregnated the nanny.
Right, he's a loser.
She paid her $80,000 to have an abortion and sign an NDA.
Right, so he's a loser with her. All right, my turn.
Okay, so you gave me
Wait.
two. Okay.
No.
I'll take
that.
that.
Counts as one.
Okay.
It counts as one. My big loser. Let's go with Oprah Winfrey.
Oh,
She stuck her neck out there, and you know what? Her whole career, she made 50, 100 billions of dollars as for the, she's a racist. I mean,
I never thought of her as a racist.
she's a
but
racist.
She only endorsed two candidates, Barack Obama
I'm
and Harris.
disgusted with her. I liked her. I don't like you anymore, Oprah, and you're a loser.
She put her reputation on the line.
All the way.
And by the way, she didn't just endorse her. She did not. She sat there that night at 11:45 at night, and she said, "If you vote for Donald Trump, this might be the last election you will ever be able to vote on. Democracy could change." She's basically telling you could go into encampments. I mean, she tried to put the fear of God into you, and everybody thinks that she was like an expert, How did anybody ever buy a book recommendation from this person when she get?
Remember, she would have that magazine and she would say any book and it becomes
She
big.
could sell anything.
It was unbelievable. She's a loser.
She lost all her power.
And you know what? I was always afraid, Gavi, to mention Oprah on her show because she had such power. Because I was afraid we would lose one audience, one viewer.
Right.
But guess what? You're a loser, Oprah. I don't like you anymore. You're fake. You're phony. You're racist.
Right. I'm going to throw Gayle King in there just because they're attached.
Gayle King.
Because she's attached at the hip. So there are two for. But now my pick
for next loser
is
well,
Walz.
I love these.
Is the vice president. The guy that's running. Yeah, Walz. I mean, could she have picked a worse candidate than him?
This guy can't get arrested in Times Square anymore. I mean, this guy's done.
Right. I mean, like this guy, just from the way he clapped, the way he talked. I mean, who picks a person that has a nickname Tampon Tim? I mean, who picks that guy? Then you find out that he lied on his military credentials. Then he's in China 38 times.
Right. He's completely exposed. Assistant Coach Waltz is done. You're done, pal.
Who even put her? And by the way, not only that, she chose him over Shapiro. By the way, Pennsylvania, most important state out there, and he's the most popular governor in the last 70 years in Pennsylvania. And she said, "I got this. I can win without this guy." Even Fetterman was telling her she's crazy. Even Fetterman said, "Are you crazy?"
All right, my turn for next loser. Iran. Watch out, Ayatollah Khomeini, or whatever your name is. Donald Trump's coming to eat your lunch, and he's coming real fast. If I were you, I'd bury my head in the sand with a camel over there because you got some problems. And Volinsky, whatever, from Ukraine, go buy a suit and tie because the Donald likes somebody dressed nicely. You can't come into the Oval Office in a green fatigues begging for money anymore. You're going to have to get dressed up.
He's not coming anymore. Trump will already tell Zelensky, you don't have to bother coming. Stay where you're at. The money's coming to an end.
Well, Trump's got to just say, America's broke. We can't give you any more billions. We need the money for these immigrants and the schools.
He's going to say...
you're going to lose land.
Right. And by the way, Joe Biden did say, how much of an encroachment is that going to be? So now, he's only going to find out... He's going to say what Joe Biden did. Okay, you're going to lose a little land here because...
Yeah, you're going to lose some ground, Volinsky.
Right.
All right, Gavi, this is fun.
Yeah.
More losers. I have a whole list of them.
Me too, but... CBS, NBC, ABC, how about all of them? MSNBC, Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, Nicole Wallace, Morning Joe, Minka.
Oh, my God, Morning Joe. I mean, all these people essentially ruined their careers. I mean, for them.
For her.
And look, it was my team, but I used to cringe at night when they used to go on TV and they say, Trump's a Nazi, Trump's this, Trump said that, Project 25, and over and over and over again he said he didn't. It was just so intellectually dishonest what they did. I just thought that was unfair.
They came out 100% of the news that they covered on Donald Trump was negative. 100%. 97% of the news they covered on Kamala Harris was positive. That's why you had people thinking that she was going to win big. But they're an elitist crowd. That's why you have Steve. You could throw in there Colbert, Fallon, and Kimmel because they were talking to the same audience. You would think one person could move to the right. They would be a much bigger viewership. But they're all in trouble.
So this is my last loser. Then we'll go to winners. And send us your comments. So next week, because I'm sure you folks have bigger losers, can come up with great names. We'll talk about them next week. We could talk about it every week because the story goes on. But I think everybody on Epstein's list at Pedophile Island is going to be a real big loser here.
They are. They're going to be, and they're nervous.
Bill Clinton,
Bill Gates.
I
mean, it's going to be. There's going to be people on this list.
This is going to be big.
By the way, you know what television network's going to be doing great this year? The Court TV.
TMZ.
Court TV. Because if you could watch the trial of P. Diddy, and you could watch...
Can you believe he's in jail 6 weeks already? I mean, he's down there at MDC. This guy was living the most fantastic life in the world. And he didn't run like, what's the guy?
Now he's wiping his butt with Scott brand toilet tissues.
Roman Polanski took off.
Was he smart?
He's at Switzerland or wherever the hell he is.
Went.
Right, he went. He did. He had his own jet, whatever. He knew the indictments were coming. What was he
Roman
thinking?
Polanski is saying, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you call me? I mean, Switzerland isn't that bad. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, he has a mansion in Switzerland.
But I just can't let all those losers. There's so many more, so I'm just going to throw a bunch. I'm going to throw these all together. How about the entertainers? Bruce Springsteen, Lady Gaga. How about all these J-Lo? How about every single person that came up there and sang a song and did everything? Beyonce.
But let me ask you this question, Gavi. Just because somebody is a talented entertainer, do you really want their opinion? I mean, just because you're Frank Sinatra and you can sing a great song, do you really care what he thinks?
No, it's like having
You're going there to watch him do a movie or sing a song.
It's like when Martin Sheen was in the West Wing. The guy was a 9th grade dropout, Charlie Sheen's father.
Right.
And they think because he played the president, they're asking his opinion on what to do with foreign affairs. The guy's an idiot.
Yeah,
So-
they're all losers. But I want to meet all those people that were claiming they're leaving the country. When are they going to pack and start leaving if Donald Trump becomes president again? All these people were claiming, I'm moving out of
Right.
America. Well, why
We're getting
don't-
tired of that.
Yeah, let's get TMZ over to their house and watch them pack up and move out of America.
And supply them with a big jet, and they take them. But, you got to mention the other ones. Ivy League schools are losers because Donald Trump isn't going to stand for this crap.
No.
The winners are the students.
I agree.
Jewish students.
Yeah, I mean, Donna, let me tell you something. You start rioting on campus in colleges this year, forget about it.
There will be no funding, no government funding to all these schools. All they have to do is let a kid that's paying high tuition be safe and walk to class, and they couldn't do that.
All right, enough of losers. Give me your winners. Besides Donald Trump.
I still have Governor Hochul. You got Letitia James. I mean, you still got so many.
Larry Hogan. How about the guy that wouldn't endorse Trump?
Yeah,
the governor, the
he
senator.
lost. You got the Clintons, the Obamas. You got a lot of other losers. But
The list is long.
I'll give you a winner. You can start off with. You can give a besides Trump, Vance. I'll throw in Elon Musk. Huge winner.
He's made $45 billion this week. $45 billion, folks.
$45 billion
on his stock.
Right. Now, you know how Joe Biden, all he wants is his library? Like, that's all he wants right now is his library. And what does he need? 400 million, 500 million?
Yeah.
So all he needs is that. Do you know Elon Musk basically said to Donald Trump, I'm going to cut you a check for $2 billion. $2 billion, you're going to have the biggest, the best library ever. It's going to be bigger than anything. He's going to use it. He'll say it in Trump's way. Matter of fact, he might even buy Brittany Breed so he can keep it right here in Palm Beach County.
What does Elon do? Just reach in his pocket, pull out a check.
Say, here's a
and
library.
Yeah, here. Oh, thanks. That was fun. But, I was saying to Gavi, this guy runs SpaceX, runs Twitter, runs Tesla. I mean, he must be scheduled every 15 minutes his life. He flies around, 1,000 hours a year on his G650. The guy literally took a month off because he was having so much fun. The campaign
He
for
did,
Trump.
and he loved it. He was having fun. But you know what's the greatest thing in the world? He could tell Donald Trump, I'm going to do this for you, and Trump could say, wait, hold my beer for a second. He could hold a press conference, and he could say, we are doing a great joint project with Tesla right now in space because Elon Musk is a genius. The stock would go up 5 points just by a little press conference.
Oh,
I mean, he can make literally $1 billion like it's nothing.
right. Who owns NASA now? I mean, he literally, Donald Trump is going to make this guy a trillionaire.
He will. He'll be the first trillionaire.
Right. And Jeff Bezos, you're a pussy. You wouldn't stand up. And now you have Mark Zuckerberg, same thing. Don't be mad at us, Mark. But, all of a sudden, everybody's changing their opinion.
Who do you have as a winner?
Well, I'm going to go with the garbage men of America, the union workers of America. I think that Donald Trump really stuck his neck out and really held these people high. And they ended up voting him into office, and I think they're going to be rewarded. I think if there's union contracts that come up, it's no longer, although we just saw just signed 38% increase. Boeing just gave their workers a 38%.
They were on strike for a long time, too.
Right. But I think that the union workers, the garbage guys, what Trump did with that garbage truck was
Yeah,
great.
I got a good one, though.
All right.
You want to know a good one?
That's my
I'll
first
give you
winner.
another one. There's so many. But here's another winner. He's going to have the greatest Thanksgiving dinner out there. RFK. Robert F. Kennedy's going to go up to his own family and say, you're all losers. You backed Kamala Harris. And look at me now. I got my own jet. I'm flying around. I'm head of I can go to the CDC. I'm going to be head of health.
He's in charge of health in America. And sex education.
Right. Sex education. He's going to say, look at me now, guys. You guys abandoned me.
His family.
His family abandoned him for Kamala Harris and Walz, saying that they are going to vote. These Democrats were going to put their Kennedy reputation on the line for Kamala Harris and Walz over their own family member.
Is his wife, Cheryl Hines, a winner or a loser?
She's a winner.
She's a winner.
Because you know why? She can go anywhere. They can have these conferences. Do you know how prestigious that is?
He's a Kennedy, though. He's always had that.
Yeah, but now he's going to be able to fly and do and taste, and they're wine and dine, and he's going to do great.
I guess J.D. Vance is a winner.
It's a great winner.
Who would pick this guy? I mean, I said shave your beard. He didn't listen to me. But
He's going to be president in 4 years.
Maybe. J.D. Vance is definitely a winner.
Okay.
Here's a guy who was a senator for, 2 years, and now he's vice president of the United States.
Okay.
He's a winner.
Josh Shapiro.
He's a winner because he didn't go on a losing ticket.
He didn't attach himself to that piece of garbage.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Josh Shapiro. He's ready. He will be in prime time in 4 years. He's going to be who Vance is going against. That's it. It's going to be Vance versus Shapiro.
Is McDonald's winners or losers?
Winners.
They're winners.
Because he's going to be having McDonald's meals twice a week for the next 4 years.
That is so
And he's going to have them at the White House. You know how they have an Easter egg thing? It's going to be Ronald McDonald there. He's going to do everything great.
So now he's going to pick a cabinet. And, he's big on loyalty. So a guy like Mike Pompeo stuck around the whole time.
He would have picked you, but you kind of left him a little bit there.
Right,
Otherwise, he would have gotten you.
No, I know. I had a shot at it.
You did have a shot. But he remembers.
What would I have been? Secretary of what? I'm not qualified for anything.
You would have done something in real estate.
I could have been the press secretary.
Right.
Press secretary.
The binder.
No, I could have had the binder. What would I have been? I could have carried the nuclear football. I could have carried that around. And what would I have been qualified for? I would love to be Secretary of Defense. All the gadgets and the jets and the helicopter.
I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Pompeo, though, is going to be the head of the CIA or FBI or something.
Right. Who's going to be his chief of staff? That's Susie Wild?
Yeah, she's going to be the chief of staff. Rubio might be Secretary of State.
But I'm not a Trump guy, but I'm kind of excited because, he was there for 4 years. He has all the bruises of picking all the wrong people and knowing the town and knowing the politics. He's going to hit the ground running. He knows who's loyal. He knows who's right. He's going to pick the best generals.
Mayor Adams, winner.
He's going to have great generals, too. Mayor Adams, why is he a winner?
Because the government was against him. They indicted him. Donald Trump's going to look into all these charges when he's there because they're not going to be able to do anything in 2 months. And Trump's going to say, they tried to bury you like they did me. I got this covered. All cases, everything is dropped against you. We're done.
So does he make a deal with Mayor Adams that it's not a woke city anymore? You're going to turn your back on these immigrants and pardon you?
Well, right now...
Is it a federal crime? It's
yeah.
A federal
so right
crime.
now, Adams is trying to say that we're still going to be a sanctuary city. We're still going to be a sanctuary city. And Donald Trump's going to say, listen, they're looking at 5 years here. And if you want to, be pardoned and still be running and maybe get another term, because we're going to turn the city around, but you're no longer sanctuary. And Mayor Adams is going to say, okay. And Trump's going to help turn around. Matter of fact, Trump, I think, is going back to the barbershop in the Bronx to say, hey, guys, I didn't forget you. You helped me?
Right.
I'm back. Could you imagine if Donald Trump goes back into the Bronx and he sees these guys and says, I didn't forget you?
You know what Donald Trump did was brilliant. I mean, I saw him in New York, and he was campaigning, and I'm obviously a Harris supporter. I'm saying he has no shot of winning New York. Why is he in New York? Because he wanted to win the popular vote. He wanted to have that moniker. And by campaigning in California and these other states, he was able to rack up more votes and win the popular vote as well as the electoral
and
vote.
For futures, because he's turning these people that are registered, it'll be easier as a pathway going forward. And, when he has the Senate and the House, this wall is going to be built. And he's going to get things done. He has 2 years.
What's he going to do with all these immigrants? Is he going to chase them out of the country?
Well, it's easy. The first wave that he's going to do is all the criminals. That's a year in itself, 2 years in itself. Then he gets to see. But then he's going to actually bring in immigrants that are doctors and lawyers, put them to not lawyers, sorry about that, but it's going to be doctors and people that can help the country. They're going in the front of the line. And another winner is Fox News, boy. Fox News was big.
Fox News did a great job.
Even though he bashed them at the end.
Yeah, I know, but Fox News was fair and balanced. And you know what? When Elon Musk buys CNN for $1.5 billion, which is essentially an hour's worth of work for the guy, he's going to turn that into an independent.
You know what Elon Musk is doing?
He's going to bring Don Lemon back. Remember he had the interview with Don Lemon?
But Don Lemon was horrible. But you know a little gift that Elon Musk is doing for Donald Trump?
What?
He pulled Melania around and said, Melania, I just bought Vogue magazine, and you're going to be on the cover for the next 4 years. Every issue is going to be you on the cover, and it's going to do great. And all of a sudden, because she was never on the cover, not one time at Vogue. And then he's going to fire that
Anna Wintour.
Anna Wintour
with that hairdo,
right?
God.
And they're going to say another one with the glasses. You're gone, and Melania, it's your little gift. You now run Vogue magazine.
I know. And did you see them with Barron Trump? He's so tall.
Man,
it's like
6'8".
I think he's taller.
He could be. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's big. But anyway, Gavi, we had a great guy die this week, Bernie Marcus.
Wow. Started
Home Depot. He was a retail giant. 95 years old. Pretty amazing. He was great to the end. He died, the last 6 months were rough for the guy, but Quite an
but
interesting
Boca Hospital is really his hospital.
Right. Down here in
I mean,
Boca.
it's an unbelievable hospital. I had surgery. Yes, I had a surgical procedure, and the whole hospital is the Bernie Marcus. Like, he's really doing it. But tell the one story about Bernie Marcus to show you how special the guy is.
Bernie, so I was on a board with him called Defense for Democracies. It's in my book. Mindstar Publishing is publishing my book, and it's taking forever. So if anybody knows Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, maybe you could call him because the book was supposed to be out last week, whatever, next week, and it's Mindstar Publishing, and I don't know why they can't get the thing printed. I have 10,000 copies sold already, and to be a New York Times bestseller, all you need is 5.
Right.
But what I need is the book to be able to sell.
That's true.
Anyway, I have in my book a chapter about Bernie Marcus, and it's called One More Chapter. So he lives over there at St. Andrews Country Club in Boca Raton. I was on this think tank in Washington, D.C., Defense for Democracies with him. And I wasn't doing much thinking there. I was just sitting there. And they were doing all the thinking. And he knew me. So he calls me up and he says, I'm thinking of building a new house. Would you like to come look at these two?
How old was he at this time?
Well, so he says, will you look at these 2 lots? It was a combination, 2 lots, to build this brand new mansion.
It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous. And saying he lived there in an older home and he wanted to move. So I went and looked at these 2 lots with him, and they were absolutely gorgeous. And I turned to him and I said, how old are you? And he said, I'm 88 years old. I said, you do realize it's going to take 2 years to build this house. You're not moving in till you're 90 years old. And he said, yeah, I'm really excited. So the chapter's about a bunch of guys like that there's always one more chapter. And this was the guy's final personal chapter. And he moved into this gorgeous, magnificent house. I told him the lots were amazing.
What did he get, 5 years there?
He got 5 great years.
That's unbelievable. He bet right.
And he bet right. And the lots were gorgeous. He knew they were gorgeous. He just needed somebody to say they were gorgeous. And they were gorgeous. And
Building a
the
house
was
at
90 years old.
Right. That's incredible.
It's an amazing story. But let's go back to what's incredible. Gavi's football picks. I mean, this week was a rough week on the pros. Weren't you 2-2? Or
no, it's interesting. But last week I went 3-1 in college, 1-3 in the pros. The pros were like some of these picks and these penalties. I mean, the Eagles game, for instance, there was a return for a touchdown where Barkley was down on that. And by the way, that was the greatest single football play I've ever seen in my life where where the guy jumped over a guy backwards. But my picks for this week are going to be in the pros this week. The Chicago Bears -6.5 over New England. The Minnesota Vikings -7 over the Jacksonville Jags. The Detroit Lions -3.5 over the Texans. In college.
Well, let's go back to that. Like Bill Belichick, what's going on?
Bill Belichick is going to probably be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys if he wants to work for Jerry Jones.
How about the Jets?
He might be.
New York's better than for him.
An interesting thing with the New York Jets, Woody Johnson, the owner of the New York Jets, they might give him his ambassadorship back, and he might be going back.
Funny.
He might be going back to London to live.
That's crazy. Would he want to do it again?
Yeah, he loved it there. I mean, being an ambassador.
I know. Donald, can I be an ambassador? I switched to you. I voted for
By the way,
you.
it doesn't even have to be English. How about just
I'll go to the Greek. I'll go to the Bahamas.
Would you do good in Italy if he made you?
No, I'd be great in Italy. I mean, I'll go to some bumfuck country in the middle of nowhere.
Iceland?
Yeah, I'll do Iceland. Why not?
So, I mean, that really is. But Woody Johnson could be being the ambassador. I mean, that's.
All right, how about Kansas City? What you think of that game?
Mahomes is just so good.
What was the spread on that? That was crazy.
Yeah, the points, that was like, it felt like a half a point,
right.
Like right on the number. But in college ball, I'm going with the Navy midshipmen over USF, which is University of South Florida, -3. I'm going with Michigan, +14 over Indiana. I just can't believe this
big schools.
I mean, Indiana is having the best year they've had in 40 years. But you know what? It's like when you play your dad, and you might be a better golfer than him. But when
Where's that game?
It's in Indiana.
Is that 100,000 seats?
It's not a big stadium. But you know what? It's tough to finally beat your dad. It's tough to finally break 80 the first time. And I think Michigan, if they lose, they're not losing by 14. And then another upset here. I like Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin beating the Georgia Bulldogs. This could knock Georgia out of the whole playoff picture. So I'm going with Ole Miss, the Rebels.
So anyway, we're on what week of football? This is week 10?
Yeah.
Wow, it's going so
fast. And the Eagles are looking great. They should have only had one loss, but they lost that one Atlanta game, which
who are those announcers hate Nick Sirianni.
He's the worst coach I've ever seen in my life. I'm letting you know. the dumbest,
Eagles
worst coach I've ever seen.
winning.
I mean, the memes that are out there. I mean, I've never seen a guy.
winning.
I mean, it's almost like, you know how many people use the line, you can't make this stuff up? I mean, you were watching stuff that literally a third grader would say.
Every day, Gavi would call me and complain about Kamala Harris. You know, she's this, she's that, a word salad, she's this and that. And I said, Gavi, the score's 50-50. The score's 50-50. And that's Nick Sirianni. He's winning. He's a winner.
He is. He's winning. And
Look at Jerry Jones in Dallas. He sucks every year. He's
love,
horrible.
The Eagle fans love him to
Bill
stay there.
Belichick would never work for that guy.
I don't think so. That's
That guy would meddle on every single thing he
I
does.
hope Jerry Jones lives until he's 99 years old. It's the best thing ever for the Eagles. I mean, for Dallas fans, to have to look at the Washington Commanders behind them. And by the way, Josh Harris, ever since he bought the Washington Commanders, the 76ers have won one game this year. They're like 1-7. I think Josh Harris took his eye off the ball with the 76ers. He let Joel Embiid not play after he played in the Olympics. I mean, he's losing
What
fans.
happened? So Joel Embiid choked the reporter. What happened to him? Did he get in trouble?
He got suspended 3 more games now.
Oh,
this reporter.
$70 million a year guy.
Yeah. So what's Joel Embiid? He cost
$500 a game, $500,000 a game.
So he cost Joel Embiid $1.5 million. This
to choke
reporter.
a guy, that's worth it.
Because the guy, mentioned his brother and some other stuff. But meanwhile, you got the fans against him. Josh Harris is destroying the 76ers. Meanwhile, he's doing great with Washington.
Josh, that's Gavi over there.
If I ask you for floor seats,
that's Gavi, not Cuddy.
It's me.
That's trashing you.
But by the way, I have jumped ship before. You could ask Jess Pagula, and I'm now back in good graces with Jess Pagula, the tennis player. So.
Sixers, it's early in the season. They'll come back. But this whole thing with Joel Embiid, where he only has to play 50 games, now 47 because he's suspended for 3, is not a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing. I think the fans should boycott until April. Don't show up until April because that's what the team's telling you. They're not showing up until April. So
anyway, folks, Donald Trump is now president of the United States. You're going to be sitting on the edge of your chair for the next 4 years. There'll be news conferences every day.
He's entertaining.
He's actually pretty funny.
Except I wouldn't take one question from ABC, NBC, CBS. I would make them sit in the corner.
So cool.
I wouldn't take one question. I would do exactly what the binder, KGP, did to everybody else. Give them a taste of their own medicine. I mean, no press conferences. Do you know Joe Biden never really came out of that room, the press room, and never just talked and took questions?
So what do you think happens to Joe Biden now?
Joe Biden
does he end up on a beach somewhere the rest of his life?
Joe
in
Biden,
a nursing home.
I think Joe Biden is going to get. You're going to see how old he gets really quickly. He has 4 or 5 days to pardon his son, so he's having.
Yeah, that comes up.
5 days.
Yeah.
So I think Trump is meeting him in the White House. Now it's going to be discussed. I personally think that Donald Trump's going to say, "I'll pardon him if you want." And
how about if he makes a deal with Kamala Harris? I resign. You become the president because you lost, but you now become the first black woman president. But the deal is you have to pardon my son.
No, because Donald Trump has printed too many hats that say 45 and 47 on it, and that would make him the 48th president.
There's no way Donald Trump pardons Hunter Biden. It won't happen.
I'll tell you what. There's a chance. No, I don't think Joe Biden would trust Donald Trump. So he'll end up. And then when he pardons him, then the rest of the country will say, "Oh, there's the elitist again. He sat there and told us he wasn't."
He'll get a pardon.
But I think he gets a little. I think you're going to see him get a little sick. I mean, he's up there.
Yeah.
But it's.
So before we go, folks, you're going to hit the subscribe button. You're gonna give us comments. You don't have to give any information. Just it helps us build.
Give us the name of a winner. And
we
a loser.
actually our reels we had so many views on our reels this week. It was more viewership than CNN. That's how pathetic CNN is. That we have more action than they do.
Right. And by the way, some of these people, I know when she lost, but to pull race out when you have the Latino vote, when you got the male black vote, and then they're telling the male black vote that they're like wimps. I mean, come on.
Let's have one more bet before we go.
And Megyn Kelly's a winner, by the way.
Yeah, Megyn Kelly's the winner. She looks great. I hope she gets back on Fox.
She doesn't need Fox.
Saturday night, Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul, YouTuber. Who wins?
Jake Paul's going to kill him.
All right, I'll take Tyson.
Okay.
I think Tyson. And you owe me $20 on the Atlanta bet, right?
Okay, yeah, I do.
Although you let me off on the big $10,000
okay, but sports is one thing. I'll take.
You think Jake Paul's winning that fight?
Yeah.
Oh God, Mike Tyson's going to destroy.
He's going to get tired. You know, Father Time.
It's not going to last more than a minute.
Do you know?
It'll last 1 minute.
Do you think you could keep your hands up for 5 minutes?
No.
Just up. Just
no.
Okay.
With gloves? No.
Okay. That's how hard boxing is, and I don't think. I think Mike Tyson's going to get tired.
We'll see. All right, folks. I am Mike Tyson. He is Jake Paul, the YouTuber. Everybody have a great week.
See ya.
'Cause I'm only wondering